Welcome to Creepy, the best horror storyteller on YouTube.
Alex had always been a bit of a gamer. He loved the feeling of being transported to another world, where he could be anything he wanted to be. But he had never played a game quite like Immersion before. Immersion was a new online game that promised to be the most immersive and realistic ever. It was still in beta testing, but Alex managed to get an invite. He was eager to try it out. When Alex first logged into Immersion, he was blown away by the graphics. The game world looked so real, it was hard to tell it wasn't the real world. He could see the individual blades of grass on the ground and the pores on the skin of the characters. Alex created a character and started playing. He quickly discovered that Immersion was more than just a game. It was a whole new world, with its own unique rules and possibilities. He could do anything he wanted in Immersion: fly, fight monsters, explore exotic lands. Alex quickly became addicted to Immersion. He started playing for hours on end, neglecting his real life. His grades at school started to suffer, and he stopped socializing with his friends. Alex's parents were worried about him. They tried to get him to stop playing Immersion, but he refused to listen. He told them that the game was just a hobby, and that he had everything under control. But Alex knew that he was lying to himself. He was addicted to Immersion, and he couldn't stop playing. One day, Alex was playing Immersion when he encountered something strange. He was exploring a forest when he came across a group of creatures that he had never seen before. They were tall and humanoid, but with pale skin and glowing red eyes. Alex tried to communicate with the creatures, but they didn't respond. They just stared at him with their glowing red eyes. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He turned and ran. Alex ran back to the nearest town, but the creatures followed him. He tried to fight them off, but they were too strong. Just when he thought he was about to be killed, a group of players appeared and helped him defeat the creatures. The players told Alex that the creatures he had encountered were known as the Shadow People. They were a dangerous race of beings that lived in the deepest parts of the Immersion world. The players warned Alex to be careful and to avoid the Shadow People at all costs. Alex was shaken by his experience, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the game was changing. He started to see strange things in the real world, things that he knew couldn't be real. He would see the Shadow People out of the corner of his eye, or hear their voices whispering in his ear. Alex knew that he was in danger. He had to find a way to escape from Immersion before it was too late. But how could he escape from a game that he couldn't stop playing? Alex was terrified. He had never believed in ghosts or monsters before, but now he knew that they were real. The Shadow People were haunting him, both in the game world and in the real world. Alex tried to stop playing Immersion, but he couldn't. The game had a hold on him. He would start playing with the intention of only playing for a short time, but hours would pass and he would still be playing. Alex's grades at school continued to suffer, and he stopped socializing with his friends altogether. He spent all of his time playing Immersion. One day, Alex was playing Immersion when he encountered a group of Shadow People again. This time, they surrounded him. Alex tried to fight them off, but they were too strong. They dragged him away into the darkness. Alex woke up in a strange place. He was in a dark cave, with chains around his wrists and ankles. He looked around and saw that he was surrounded by Shadow People. The Shadow People leader stepped forward. It was a tall, gaunt figure with glowing red eyes. "Welcome, Alex," the leader said. "We have been waiting for you." "What do you want with me?" Alex asked. "You are special," the leader said. "You have the potential to be one of us." "I don't want to be one of you," Alex said. "I just want to go home." "You can't go home," the leader said. "You're trapped here now." Alex struggled against his chains, but they were too strong. He started to cry. "Please," he begged. "Let me go." The leader smiled cruelly. "We'll see," he said. The shadow people left Alex alone in the cave. He sat there for hours, crying and struggling against his chains. He knew that he had to find a way to escape, but he didn't know how. Alex started to experience hallucinations. He would see the shadow people everywhere he looked. He would hear their voices whispering in his ear. Alex knew that he was losing his grip on reality. He had to find a way out of the game before it was too late. Alex started to think about the shadow people. He realized that they were attracted to fear. The more he was afraid, the stronger they became. Alex decided to stop being afraid. He stood up and faced the shadow people. "I'm not afraid of you," he said. "You can't control me." The shadow people were surprised. They had never met anyone who wasn't afraid of them. "You will be afraid," the leader said. "We will make you afraid." The shadow people attacked Alex, but he was ready for them. He fought back with all his strength. Alex fought for hours, but he was outnumbered. He was starting to get tired. The shadow people were about to overpower him when something unexpected happened. A bright light appeared in the cave. The light was so bright that the shadow people couldn't bear it. They cried out in pain and disappeared. Alex was left alone in the cave. He was exhausted, but he was alive. He had escaped from the shadow people. Alex didn't know how the light had saved him, but he was grateful. He knew that he had to get out of the cave before the shadow people came back. Alex struggled against his chains, and this time he was able to break free. He ran out of the cave and into the forest. Alex ran for hours, until he finally reached the nearest town. He collapsed to the ground, exhausted but relieved. Alex had escaped from the shadow people, but he knew that he wasn't safe yet. The game still had a hold on him. He had to find a way to quit playing Immersion before it was too late. But how could he quit playing a game that he couldn't stop playing? Alex knew that he had to find a way to quit playing Immersion, but he didn't know how. The game had a hold on him, and he couldn't seem to break free. He tried to stop playing Cold Turkey, but he couldn't resist the temptation. He would start playing with the intention of only playing for a short time, but hours would pass and he would still be playing. Alex knew that he needed help. He talked to his parents about his problem, and they agreed to help him. They took him to see a therapist who specialized in gaming addiction. The therapist helped Alex to understand why he was addicted to Immersion. She explained that the game was designed to be addictive, and that it was exploiting his weaknesses. The therapist also helped Alex to develop coping mechanisms for dealing with his addiction. She taught him how to resist the temptation to play, and how to manage his time more effectively. Alex started to see progress. He was able to play Immersion for shorter periods of time, and he was able to resist the temptation to play when he was feeling stressed or anxious. But Alex knew that he wasn't safe yet. He had to find a way to quit playing Immersion altogether. One day, Alex was talking to his friends about his problem. One of his friends, a girl named Maya, told him about a support group for people with gaming addiction. Alex decided to give the support group a try. He was surprised to find that he was not alone. There were many other people who were struggling with the same addiction. The support group helped Alex to stay motivated. He was able to share his experiences with other people who understood what he was going through. Alex also started to focus on other things in his life. He started spending more time with his friends and family. He also started playing sports and going to the gym. After a few months of hard work, Alex was finally able to quit playing Immersion altogether. He was free from the game's addiction. Alex knew that he would always be at risk of relapse, but he was determined to stay sober. He knew that he had a good life, and he didn't want to waste it on a video game. Alex's story is a reminder that gaming addiction is a real problem. It is important to seek help if you or someone you know is struggling with gaming addiction. With the right support, it is possible to overcome this addiction and live a healthy and fulfilling life.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.